Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Speak Better Journey. Today we're kicking off our 30-day Study Smart Challenge. And trust me, this first episode is going to hit you hard because we're talking about something almost every student in the US struggles with: wasting time without even knowing it.
Exactly. Students always say, I studied for hours. But when you ask what they actually did during those hours, the truth is it's mostly scrolling, switching tabs, daydreaming, staring at a page without reading, or pretending to review notes while their brain is basically offline.
And listen, we're not judging. This is normal. Every student does this, including us when we were in school. The problem isn't lack of effort. The problem is illusion of productivity.
Yes, this is what we call fake studying, the kind of studying where you're sitting at your desk but not learning anything. And the scary part, most students don't even notice it. They finish the night thinking, wow, I studied for 5 hours. No, you didn't. You just spent 5 hours in the study zone, which is completely different.
Let's be brutally honest here, and I want every student listening to really think about this. If time spent equals results, then why do some students study for 2 hours and get A's while others study all night and barely pass?
Because the key isn't time. The key is how you use the time. And right now, most students are using it poorly because no one taught them how the brain actually learns.
And that's exactly what today's episode is about. So before we dive into the techniques, we need to expose the real enemy: unconscious time wasting.
If you don't understand this enemy, every technique we teach later will fall apart. So let's break it down step by step. Let's start with the first big truth. Most students confuse being busy with being effective. And honestly, that's one of the biggest traps in American school culture. Everyone thinks the student who carries the most books, highlights the most pages, or stays up the latest is the hard worker. But let's be real, that's just noise. It doesn't mean they're learning.
Exactly. You know what real learning looks like? It's simple. Your brain struggles a little, and then it clicks. That's it. If you're reading a textbook and you feel nothing, no challenge, no thinking, you're not learning. You're just babysitting your eyes.
Totally. And second truth, most students don't realize how much their phone destroys their focus. Here's the ugly part, and I know several students are going to feel this. Even when your phone is face down on the table, your brain still expects notifications. That tiny mental pressure cuts your attention in half.
Right. Teachers blame everything except the real problem: mental switching. Every time you jump from studying to phone to mind wandering back to studying, your brain restarts the learning process. You lose momentum.
And this restart isn't small. Research shows it can take up to 20 minutes for your brain to fully refocus after one small distraction. So if you check your phone every 10 minutes, you never reach deep focus, ever.
Which is why students think they studied for 2 hours. But in reality, they only gave their brain about 15 minutes of real learning time.
And I want everyone listening to be brutally honest with themselves. Does this happen to you? Because once you admit it, things start to change.
Hi everyone, Marco here. Welcome back to Speak English Zone, the place where you learn to speak English more confidently, step by step, day by day. Today, we're going to talk about one of the biggest mistakes English learners make: translating every word in your head before speaking. If you're doing this, it's slowing you down, making you nervous, and stopping you from sounding natural. But don't worry, I'm going to share a few powerful tips to help you stop translating and start thinking in English. Let's get started. First, let me explain why translating is a problem. When you translate from your native language to English in your head, you are doing double work. First, you think of the idea in your language. Second, you try to find the English words. By the time you finish, the conversation has already moved on. This makes you feel slow, shy, and sometimes even embarrassed. The solution is to train your brain to think directly in English. But how? Here are 3 steps that will help you. Step 1. Use simple English. Many learners get stuck because they try to use complicated grammar or fancy vocabulary. Instead, focus on short, simple sentences. For example, instead of saying, "I am not entirely certain about the outcome of this project," you can say, "I'm not sure about this project." Simple words mean faster thinking and faster speaking. Step 2. Talk to yourself in English. Yes, I mean it. Talk to yourself when you're alone. Describe what you're doing. For example, "I'm making tea," "I'm washing the dishes," "I'm reading a book." This builds a direct connection between your thoughts and English words, without your native language in between. Step 3. Practice with no translation rules. When you watch a movie, listen to a podcast, or talk to a friend in English, force yourself to stay in English. If you don't know a word, try to explain it using other words instead of translating. For example, if you forget the word umbrella, you can say, "the thing you use when it rains." This way, you keep thinking in English and avoid breaking your flow. Remember, learning to think in English takes time. At first, you will feel slow and uncomfortable, but that's normal. Over time, your brain will start to skip the translation step and speaking will become much faster. Here's your challenge for today. For the next 24 hours, try to avoid translating in your head. Even when you don't know a word, describe it in English instead of switching to your native language. If you keep doing this every day, you'll be surprised how quickly your fluency will improve. All right, that's all for today. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and remember, the more you think in English, the faster you will speak. See you in the next episode.
All right, Mike, we've talked about the traps, the distractions, and the fake studying. Now, let's give students a simple takeaway for today.
Here it is. Start tracking your actual learning time. Yes, it's that simple. Use a timer, a notebook, or even your phone, ironically, to record how long you are truly focused.
And combine that with one small change today. Pick a short, challenging task and try the active recall method. Read a paragraph, close the book, and explain it out loud. Don't skip this step.
Because here's the truth. Small habits build real results. 2 hours of fake studying gives you nothing. 30 minutes of real, focused learning moves you forward.
And remember, this is a 30-day challenge. Today is day 1. The goal isn't to overwhelm you, it's to help you see where you waste time and fix it early.
Exactly. And if you follow this for the next 30 days, by the end, you'll not only learn smarter, you'll also feel more confident and in control.
So your homework for today: 1. Track your actual study time. 2. Try active recall with at least one paragraph. 3. Notice how much time you really spent learning versus just sitting at your desk.
That's it for day 1. Tomorrow we'll dive into the 80-20 rule for students, how to focus on the 20% of tasks that give 80% of the results.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you found this useful. And remember, study smart, not hard.